Unsolved Murders, The Zodiac Killer and Jack the Ripper by Patrick Auerbach looks at two of the most famous unsolved mysteries. The sections on Jack the Ripper are absolutely more detailed and more thorough than the ones on the Zodiac. There is an introduction, walkthroughs on the crime scenes, and discussions on possible victims, such as Emma Smith and Martha Tabram. This book also contains a large set of suspect profiles and tries to determine whether or not each suspect could have actually been Jack the Ripper. Even though the book leaves something to be desired, as each suspect chapter is very short, Patrick Auerbach does highlight certain key points. For example, he views Thomas Neal Cream as a weak suspect, and points out that he was incarcerated in the United States in 1888 when Jack the Ripper committed his crimes, and the only way to justify his candidacy is through unsubstantiated claims. He provides an interesting suspect profile for James Kelly, a patient and inmate who escaped from Broadmoor Asylum, but in the end gets far too speculative, relying on the story of a secret file that may or may not exist. Patrick Auerbach talks about another suspect, Walter Sickert, the suspect of Patricia Cornwell, amongst others, and he does make some observations that are solid about how a possible DNA match between Walter Sickert and Jack the Ripper should be contested, not only because the DNA evidence is questionable, but because it comes from the letters, and we aren't even sure that Jack the Ripper wrote the letters at all. And anytime someone is willing to take the bold stance that Jack the Ripper did not write the letters, I'm willing to hear them out. The book ends with a concluding send-off, and Patrick Auerbach shares his final thoughts about Jack the Ripper. I should point out that the Zodiac sections do not contain a concluding send-off. One idea that is expressed is that the fascination that people have with Jack the Ripper is because it captures the imagination and allows people to explore one of the darkest sides of humanity. If you want to hear more about Jack the Ripper, you can hit the like button and subscribe, and to hear my long-form book discussion on Unsolved Murders, The Zodiac Killer, and Jack the Ripper, please click the link below and check out the weekly show Ripper Wednesday on Black Box Online Radio.